Hello and welcome to TransByDef. My name is Morgan Fay, and today I'm going to be recapping a few of the topics that I missed the last few weeks. The wonderful new decor is courtesy of my wonderful wife. Today is her and I's 8th anniversary, which goes straight into the first topic I want to touch upon, which is how to be a transition ally. My wife has been the strongest ally, strongest supporter, biggest advocate for me. I would not have been able to make it to where I am today and still be as emotionally intact if not for her support. So I'd love to say, thank you. You have been, you've been everything for me. So I appreciate that. And if you're out there and you've got someone in your life, a friend, family member, significant other, who's who's come out as trans, and you want to be an ally to them, there's a few important things to remember. The first is that you need to be kind of proactive. One of the biggest things that my wife did for me was that early on in my transition, right after I had chosen my new name, I wasn't ready to ask people to switch gender pronouns. I just didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel right. I didn't feel entitled to do so. I even picked a name which was androgynous to make it easier on others to get accustomed to calling me something different. I wasn't planning on actually asking to have pronouns switched for probably half a year after that point, but my wife switched within a week, and it was the most wonderful thing that she could have done for me. And by her example, our family switched, and it was one of the biggest but smallest shows of support that meant the most at a time when I was the most fragile in my transition. So that kind of proactive step was hugely important, and that was something that was great, and that's the kind of things that you want to do if you want to be a true ally. Also, my wife was starting to ask questions, not probing questions, not why are you doing this? It was, how do you feel? Is this making you happier? That kind of thing, and those kind of questions. One, shows that she's interested, shows that she cares about my experience, and two, shows that she's interested about me and about my happiness and who I need to be. The other thing she did was educate herself. It becomes very tiring in life to constantly be the one educating everyone around you. A lot of times it is, unfortunately, the job of those who are most visible in the trans community, and that usually means early on in transition when we are at the most fragile state, to be the ones that are educating and being the ambassador of goodwill to all the other people who have never met us. I mean, the statistic is that fewer than 9% of Americans actually know someone who's trans. So when you transition, you're likely to be that person. So you are the representative of our community, and that's a lot of weight. And this kind of goes into another topic, which is social acceptance. Social acceptance, unfortunately, isn't something that I think we have yet. What we do have is social visibility, which sets the stage for social acceptance. But unfortunately, the onus is usually upon us to kind of fight for that legitimacy and to educate and to become real people to those who have not experienced a relationship with someone who's trans. And this can be very tiring. But unfortunately, we don't have the greatest role models yet. Even the two most well-known role models is one person who's in prison, Miss Manning, and another person who plays someone in prison, so Laverne Cox. Great, there are great other role models out there, Janet Mock being amongst them, but cis people have never really heard of these people, so we still have a negative social stereotype that's even being portrayed even today, even when we are gaining more acceptance and gaining more visibility. It is going to be upon us to educate and to be the role models for the generations to come, and to be the examples of what it is to be trans for the community that around us, for the cis people that this is usually going to be the first time they're ever meeting us. So we're at the point in time where we can begin to gain social acceptance, but unfortunately it's going to be it's going to be on us to do so. And it's not a fair thing to ask. There are days that those questions, the same questions over and over, even if they're not directly hostile, sometimes they are. They wear on you, and they generally bring up your dysphoria, because you have to talk about what it was before, who you were before, and it's not fair, but it is what we have to do in order to really push forward and to have that better future that we're all hoping for. So another topic was the importance of support groups. Early on in transition, I didn't think I needed them. I was wrong. I've yet to go to one. I've looked, but in my area, there's really not any options. I can just imagine what my mental state would have been if I didn't have my wife to support me. Support groups are important, because no matter how strong you are, this is a difficult task, and it's a difficult social stress to go through. And you're going to have bad days, and you're going to have down days, and when you go to that dark place, if you don't have an ally or you don't have a support group, you might not get out of it. The suicide rate for us is ridiculously high. And there's a reason for that. And unfortunately, we also have one of the lovely things of being able to commit suicide, usually on the first attempt. So it's not cries for attention. It's just an overcoming depression that takes in, and you need support in your life, whether it be through allies, whether it be through support groups, better yet, both. It's necessary, and it doesn't mean that you're weak. Getting through this means that you are anything but weak, but you can't do it alone. Not if you want to come out intact on the other side. So I think that's going to pretty much cover most of the topics. The other one, which is grief and loss during transition, it's not something I've really experienced. I have lost a few friends. I don't talk with some of my family members as closely, but I think pretty much any grief and loss we suffer, we can deal with, as long as we have those allies, those support groups in those support mechanisms in our life. So don't do it alone. Don't do it alone, but you will get through it. So that's going to wrap up this recap, and I'll be setting up to do my next video, so we can start doing the videos on a more regular basis again. But before I go, I would like to say one thing to my wife. Thank you. You are the most wonderful, beautiful person that I could have ever hoped for. You are my heart. You are my life. You are my love. Thank you. I love you.